Everybody. We have two great speakers here, and I want to introduce the first speaker with you. Really excited about him because I met first his son, and I was very impressed. And he has built a very successful business. He has published more than one book. He has published two books, and he will talk to you about that as well. But he's the author of Uncovered and Exposed, and he also is the president and CEO of Gold Star Adjusters. He does what most people may not immediately see the need for, but when things happen, he's the man you should be looking for. He's a public insurance adjuster. So he's going to be giving you property insurance 101 today. So let's welcome Mark Goldwich.
Appreciate the opportunity. I have a presentation. I'm not sure exactly how to share it, but what I'm going to do is it's a lot of information I'm going to give you. I hope some of it is beneficial to everybody here. I'll start by just giving you a little information about myself. I'm a Florida native. I was born in Miami. I've moved to Jacksonville in 2000. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in insurance, and I've been licensed since 1987. I have written two books on the topic of insurance claims. Insurance has been my career. Get right into it. Some insurance claim basics. The insurance policy that you get is not a product. It's actually a legal contract. The insurance company writes it, and you agree to it when you buy it. You don't get to change it up the way you want it. It's not a guarantee that you get paid what is owed, and a claim can be denied just if you make when you complete insurance application. All the information there is correct and accurate. You are allowed to negotiate your insurance settlement. Policies is who knows more about insurance and the policy, you or the insurance company. I think you'll find that it's easy to see why it's important to have somebody on your side that's familiar with the insurance policies. Now, you might want to think of yourself as a customer or client of the insurance company, but once a claim is filed, you're actually a legal and financial adversary. The insurance adjuster does not work for you. You don't pay their salary. Just may seem that way. So claim departments are a profit center of the insurance companies, and they're designed to make money for shareholders. Insurance companies use four main tactics that help keep payments low. They delay, deny, deflect, and defend. And these are detailed in my first book, Uncovered. Also, insurance companies use lobbyists, money, and legislators to pass favorable laws that are favorable just to them. These are detailed in my book, Exposed. So just because an insurance company sends a letter stating the amount of the loss or denying the loss, complete with policy language, this doesn't make it so. You do have options. You can renegotiate a claim after it is closed or even after it's denied. In Florida, this time period has been reduced to 1.5 years after the loss, but it's still time. All claims can be appealed, and many have specific methods for resolving disagreements. In Florida, it's mediation, appraisal, or litigation. And believe it or not, insurance companies often make mistakes, very often. I'm not sure they're mistakes. Even if your tree falls on a neighbor's property, you're not required to pay past the property line. Now, the same is true for their tree falling on your house. They may not be required to pay for that part that damages your home. You would go to your own insurance company for that. Also, rainwater that pools in your yard is excluded just as if it were a catastrophic flood. Flood is specifically excluded under most homeowners insurance policies. You also need to know it's up to you to prove your personal property loss, that you owned what you say and that it was worth what you say. Documentation is critical for this. Most plumbing backups are excluded or limited under most policies. The good news is almost every event that's called a backup is actually a fill up, which is covered. You just need to know the difference and how to show it. Some Florida only issues that we find. Diminished or shrinking coverage. Policies have been changing with increasing frequency to reduce coverages and limits, while premiums have been increasing significantly. Multiple adjuster reassignments have become common practice, adding to claim handling frustrations. Deductibles have been increasing to price consumers out of coverage that they paid for, so that's not even worth filing a claim. Attorney fee protections have been removed in Florida. This gives carriers even less incentive to act in good faith. Consumer advocates are under assault in Florida. Florida actually allows some carriers to deny policyholders the very right to hire someone to help them on their insurance claim. And insurance companies complain a lot about lawsuits, but policyholders file lawsuits out of necessity, not for fun. Lawsuits would decline dramatically if claims were paid promptly and fairly. So what's a public adjuster? Well, first, there are three types of adjusters: staff, independent, and public. Staff adjusters are employed directly by the insurance company. Independent adjusters work for a company that's outsourced by the insurance company. And public adjusters are hired by the policyholder and exclusively represent only the policyholder, never the insurance company. So a public adjuster's job is to represent the policyholder, to prepare, submit, and negotiate the claim directly with the insurance company on behalf of the policyholder in order to maximize the settlement. Here's some examples of how public adjusters can help on claims. My very first claim that I handled as a public adjuster after 17 years with the insurance company resulted in a net benefit to the insured of over $200,000 over what the insurance company initially wanted to offer. That same property, 16 years later, got hit by another hurricane, 16 years to the date. And on that one, we were able to make an improvement of over $130,000. In my slideshow, I'm sorry, I have a lot of other examples of how we take claims from, in one example, $5,500 to over $802,000. This was a case right here in Jacksonville. All right, so hurricane season is coming up and preparation is key. There's tons of information online. Always recommend you check that out. Also, I recommend you talk to your insurance agent. You want to make sure you have the right policy, the right coverages, endorsements, limits, and deductibles for your needs, and you can shop around. You also need to have a plan, not just a kit. Think about having no power for weeks, dealing with the aftermath, cleanup, kids, pets, repairs, insurance, contractors. All of these things are very demanding. You need to plan for this. Lack of planning leads to mental exhaustion, which then leads to walking away from potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars on your insurance claim. And yes, it does happen. Here are some property insurance claims, do's and don'ts. Know your insurance policy. Consider buying a flood policy, even if you're not in a flood zone. 75% of people who have flood damage don't have flood insurance. Take photos or video of valuable possessions and your home in general, from far away and from close up. Store important documents where they can't be damaged. Online in the cloud is good. And also, don't try to pull one over on your insurance company. Be thorough, but be honest. Take notes of everything that's damaged and keep a detailed log of all conversations with your insurance company, your contractor, and everyone else. Show the adjuster all of the damage and be as thorough as possible. If the adjuster doesn't want to spend time to review it all, have them come back and when they will spend that time. Review the adjuster's estimate in detail until you understand it. If you don't, request a licensed contractor or somebody else to review it and give you an independent quote. And if your insurance company adjuster tells you to get 3 quotes, I would suggest you get 5 quotes and just give them the 2 highest. Don't be abusive to your insurance company representatives, but don't be afraid to question them or to stand up for yourself. Be professional, but not a doormat. Don't agree to a recorded interview or examination under oath without professional representation. Don't over-explain. Be factual, brief, and specific. If the insurance company refuses to pay for anything, demand they explain why in writing. Be persistent and don't give up. Appeal up the chain of command. And lastly, seek professional assistance when needed. That's about it. I know we'll have time for questions later. However, if you want a copy of the presentation or either of my 2 books by PDF, all you have to do is message me with your email address, and those will be given to you free to members of this group. I hope you had learned something from this presentation this morning, and I'm always available to answer questions for you.
Well, thank you, Mark. That was very
Appreciate the opportunity.
inspirational and educational because obviously everybody cares about their home and we don't know when we are being taken advantage of. I think that happens to a lot of people.